And we're on the road to SummerSlam, and there's not many stops left to go. Tonight was in Bizarro World, aka Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And some very interesting things came out of tonight, including a match that had one of the worst calls I think I've ever seen in professional sports.
I'm trying to work out which one that is because there was a lot of them.
Exactly. So, real quick, I'll give you a quick update like we always do. The Bullet Club shirts will be available starting this week in both U.S. and Canada. And they're going to be the normalcy, which is the Bullet Club logo shirt, the Tekken shirts going back in stores, the Young Bucks, Cody, Omega, and yes, Marty, which is the hardest one to find right now. It's the only one I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And starting very soon, shirts from LIJ, New Japan Pro Wrestling itself, as well as Hangman Page and the Guerrillas of Destiny. And if those shirts go, the ones I just mentioned, if they end up in their small run, if they do well, then they'll go in every single store as well. On that note,
I do like the fact though that the Bucks are already ripping off the number one Rick and Morty shirt with their own version of it, just with the Bucks.
Brilliant idea. And so that means, real quick before we get started, I want to wish a big happy birthday to Pedro.
Sorry you had to sit through that shit on your birthday.
Yeah, don't worry, Pedro. We'll hit up Universal somewhere in the near future, and we'll wipe that from your mind, just like a neuralizer.
If you stay up for another 6 or 7 hours, you'll be able to see good wrestling in Japan.
If I didn't have to work at 5, if I didn't have to leave my house at 5:45 in the morning, I totally would be more than happy to be able.
No matter which company, because Dragon Gate and New Japan are both having shows.
Yeah. And of course, I have to work, so that's not an option. But as always, welcome to another edition of the WWE Monday Night Raw Popcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. This is Ashley.
Yep.
And we're here.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little Raw, and the only response I have is,
I mean, there was stuff that was on here, but at the same point, there's some very weird stuff that actually went down.
Very questionable things going on, including the fact that Scott Dawson is hurt.
Yeah. He's hurt. You know, Bailey's hurt.
Bailey's officially out of SummerSlam now.
God knows who else is hurt and in trouble. It's going well. You know, I know they're hurt in Japan, but they're still wrestling matches.
Yeah. And now, by the way, since it's not Wednesday, but I'll probably see it on Wednesday, but I told you guys, told you it was going to happen, and no one thought I was right. That's all I have to say. I did call it. There is proof that exists on this network of me saying, rather matter-of-factly, a while back when we were previewing the G1, we were finding out exactly what the matches were going to be. I said that Juice would beat Omega, and that's exactly what happened. He got ragdolled by Okada, but I mean, he still beat Omega, so I at least was right about that.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike the Lego movie where everything is awesome, no, everything is simply evil. Let's talk WWE.
Everything's a fidget spinner.
Yeah, yeah. We're always the one. Let's say right now, I'll say this at the end of the show to remind everyone, but I'm going to say it right now off the top. We're going to do things a little differently on Wednesday. If you're a live listener, you're going to have to. You're not going to have to wait as long to get the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. We're actually going to go live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to cover all the regular goings on of the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. And then at 9, we're going to be talking. No, I'll get to that. At 8 p.m., we're going to do live reactions to NXT. And at 9 p.m., we're going to give a recap of Lucha Underground. And that's going to be your show.
Oh, so I'm still making notes.
I would say so.
But my reactions aren't going to be to anything because I can't watch NXT until...
Oh, I can take care of NXT. It's the same thing as always. I'll take care of NXT. You take care of Lucha.
Yeah. So there might not be anything at 9. We might be dual doing stuff. Obviously, my stuff won't be in too much detail. It'll just be the TLDR because obviously stuff will probably be happening on Owen's thing that'll overlap with mine.
Right. Should be an interesting show. We've never done really a live reaction live before, so it should be interesting to see how that goes out.
Probably badly.
Yeah, and then of course at 11 p.m. I'm going to be going over and riding Forbidden Journey for a while. So
he's eventing, 3-day eventing. Where's the dressage? Yeah. Where's the cross country?
Well, here's the better one. I get out at 1 o'clock, and then I have to come right back here, and then go back to work at 5. Get up for work at 5:15.
Holy shit!
That's not gonna be fun. Maybe I'll leave early. We'll see. So, let's talk Raw, shall we? The show, God, the show kicks off with a segment that actually, if it would have been done, I mean, it was done fine. I didn't have a problem with it, but I mean, it was interesting and very strange the way they did it.
Especially because you'd have thought that said person might want to attack other said person.
Nope.
Because of comments that were made, a few weeks back. The build-up to SummerSlam. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so Miz is in the ring because it's Miz TV, apparently. But it sort of isn't because Miz is just there saying, look, Raw won't start until I get what I want. And that's Kurt's illegitimate kid, Jason Jordan, to get out here. I'm sick of being blindsided and attacked on my own show. Jason, can you please come out? So I can finish what, Jordan started. So they start taking their jackets off, getting ready. And here comes Kurt. And says, look, Jason's busy tonight. He's facing one of your guys, Miz, Curtis, later. So I can't send him out now. But somebody has wanted to get a few things off their chest. And I think this is great for your show. And then here comes the pain. Here comes Brock. Here comes Paul. Basically, it came off Facebook that Brock, or I guess it was Paul speaking for Brock, saying he's got a few home truths to dish out or whatever. So before Paul can even do the intros, Miz goes, look, it's my show. And, you know what, Brock? I'm surprised that you're here because, in all honesty, you're going to lose at SummerSlam. The question is who you're going to lose to. You don't even have to be pinned to lose that belt. And he reminds us that Brock and Paul will leave if Brock doesn't leave with the Universal title. So Miz is going to put money on Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe. And the fact of the matter is, if he does the walking, he'll wave him on the way out and says good riddance to bad rubbish. And so Heyman eventually makes the introductions and says, You know, this may be a bit personal, but do you and Maurice role play? Because me and my client are all about the role play. You know, how about in this scene we have you, Miz, as Roman Reigns? You've got a lot of passion in you, Bo. You got a lot of anger and frustration. Let's say you're Samoa Joe. And Curtis, I see you puffing up your chest, looking big and everything. How about you be Braun Strowman? So now, with this role play situation set up, it's time to demonstrate what's going to happen at SummerSlam. And Heyman leaves, and Miz and the Miztourage don't know what to do. Then start basically going for it, and Brock just destroys all three of them. And leaves. That's it. If they'd have had the thing, because remember, the night after Great Balls of Fire, Miz said, you know, Brock's never here. I'm the only real champion on this brand. I'm the only one that's here day in and day out fighting for this company. Do they bother to use that in any reason for extra motive to attack Miz? No. It's because Miz is Roman Reigns. Because reasons.
Yeah, I don't get this one at all.
And that's your Brock segment. Clearly, there must be some sort of fucking Canadian curfew on him, which is weird because he wants to be advertised as fighting from Canada. Now, at least in UFC terms.
So here's the thing. Here's why I said this segment could have been really good. You have Paul Heyman against The Miz on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And they did nearly nothing with it.
Yeah. Somebody that knows how to talk and somebody that knows how to talk. And nobody knew what to do afterwards.
Plus, no allusion to the fact that Curtis Axel used to be a Paul Heyman guy.
Mm-hmm. Bet you forgot about that. Blimey.
Yep. So then we get our first match of the evening.
Mm-hmm. Seth Rollins taking on Sheamus.
Yeah, that burn it down thing needs
rematch. Apparently, this is the trend now on Raw because everybody's fucking injured, Vince. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, this match was okay. Nothing to write home about. So Seth ends up ducking the Brogue Kick and hits a high kick. Sheamus goes for a running knee lift, and Seth with a Ghetto Blaster. And Sheamus ends up trying to go up top. Seth stops him. He gets up top. He gets knocked off. Rollins runs up the buckle again and then hits a Hurricane off the top. Then he hits the Avada Kedavra for a near fall. And then he sets up for the buckle bomb. Sheamus backdrops him out. He lands on his feet. Sling blade. Cesaro on the ring apron. He knocks him off for good measure. Seth heads up top. And, of course, Cesaro gets on the apron. He dives off to crown him. And this distracts Seth long enough for Sheamus to win with a quick roll-up. But I believe, if I remember correctly, Michael Cole said something about he stole the win. That was a pretty clean pinfall without any hookage of the tights or anything. He just basically stacked him up and got the win. And Ashley, if you were listening on commentary, Booker T, For some reason, when this happened, did you hear him go, for some reason?
To be honest, I thought it was the Crash Test Dummies song that was being played or something.
I hope for his sake it was, but my God, that was really awkward. He needed to not be there.
Well, he was being pretty good all night. And like, she's jacked. It's just like,
Yeah, pretty
what?
much.
What? It's like,
So, of course, because the match isn't over yet, Seth attacks. He hits a tope suicida on both Cesaro and Sheamus on the outside. So the numbers game is enough to have them gang up on him. They beat him down. They throw him into the barricade. And then they throw him in the ring. They hit that god-awful assisted white noise I hate so much. Get another finisher, guys. Seriously. It doesn't look good. And no Dean Ambrose because reasons.
well, no, because the whole like you set it up last week. You know, you forced me to go out there, to cheer. It's not happening again. Because, when the hell would you save my back?
Yeah. I guess turnabout is fair play in this situation.
Pretty much.
Speaking of that, Seth's backstage and he runs into Ambrose.
Mm-hmm. He basically is, saying, he basically oh, I'm not falling for the same mistake twice. That reunion we had, that's just a one-off. I'm too busy with Cesaro later. I'll do it like I always do by myself. Because he's that sure that Seth isn't going to save his ass. And Seth's clearly frustrated by this. So then we get to Owen needs to find out who the jobber is.
Already got it. Continue.
Good. So Jason Jordan comes out, and of course he's supposed to be fighting Curtis Axel. But Kurt's backstage. They're not. It says a lot. They're based out of that building for 2 nights. They don't have a trainer's room. They have a trainer's corridor. He's just like on the boxes backstage, and the medical guy's assessing him, and the medical guy says, "Look, I can't clear him to fight. I don't know what his condition is." And then he turns around, and fucking Dick Justice is there. No, just kidding.
No.
I know. So he's like, "Hey, kid," even though he isn't a kid. Yeah. What's your name? Jean-Pierre Goulet, because he's related to Robert.
Actually, we're going to throw it out the way he's related to Renee. Robert is his shoot name. Rene Goulet, the professional wrestler from Quebec. So this was a double meaning, especially for someone that is a fan of the old WWF.
No, Robert Goulet. Because I'm doing it for JSK.
I'll give you
Robert
that.
Goulet.
Goulet! Very right.
And I'm guessing the Jean Pierre as well is a nod to Lafitte.
Yeah, it's Carl Oulet, exactly.
So yeah, this local guy who's just so ready backstage, and Kurt just says, "Look, go out." So Jason Jordan's there waiting, and JoJo goes, and his opponent from Quebec City, Canada, Jean-Pierre Goulet, and this guy gets the largest pop of the night.
Yeah, he gets the best reaction. Here's the funny thing. We're in Toronto. Obviously, we always make references to the O Show here on the network. I really wanted this to be Asylum. And I look at this guy, and I'm like, this could have been Asylum. In Toronto. It would have been amazing.
The thing is, I like the fact that they cheered him, even though he's from Quebec City.
Yeah, I know. They basically... Oh
He's
my
not
God.
from. He's not from Quebec. He's not from Quebec. You know, the show's happening in Ontario province, not
Ontario,
Quebec
yeah,
province.
exactly.
But they still cheered for him because, for some reason, I guess because Miz told him to last week, Jason's getting booed tonight.
This Jason Jordan storyline has died a death. It makes about as much sense as Hornswoggle as McMahon's illegitimate son. This is terrible. They really made a huge mistake here, and I really think they killed Jason Jordan as a character. They thought they were doing him a favor. They've killed his character. And look at Chad Gable on SmackDown flourishing in singles matches. That match against Rusev last week. And you gotta love this. Jean-Pierre Goulet ends up having a Star of David on the back of his gear. Because he is an independent, basically a local independent wrestler named Tomer Shalom. And you can find him on Twitter at the Shalomers. He has worked a lot.
That's why everybody was going crazy about the Jewish stuff.
Yep. He's worked for Stranglehold. I mean, he's worked for CWF. He's for Crossfire. He's from Battle Arts. Yeah, he's done a lot of indies. He's only been in the business for 7 years. So that's who it was. Top-notch journalism here on the Popcast Network. This match sucked. Died to death. I wouldn't have put this on the hour 1 of NXT. Jordan usually he drops his straps and he goes for his diving shoulder in the corner. That looked horrible. And his takedowns were terrible. We got a "Let's Go Jobber" chant. And then Jordan ends up hitting the pop-up neck breaker, which he's going to kill someone if he doesn't do that properly. He can join the Nia Jax squad. I'll tell you right now, this isn't going to work at all. They need to just kill this dead and be like, oh, yeah, just kidding. Like, with a paternity test, it's not Jason Jordan that's the son. It's Chad Gable. And then Jason Jordan can get moved to SmackDown. And, yeah, this match sucked. It was a waste of time. And then we get the absolute brutal treatment of the Toronto crowd towards Bayley.
Oh, yeah. Which she dealt with relatively well.
Yeah, but even though she's not being booked as such, she's one of the top baby faces in the women's division. And she should never acknowledge the fact she's getting booed.
Mm-hmm.
And she did.
I don't know whether that's just smarky fans or whether that's going to now be the trend when she shows up.
I mean, WWE booking has just killed her character dead in the water.
So, yeah, Charlie interviews her about the injury. They show it on the big screen, and Bayley says, look, she can't watch the footage back as it makes her mad because, you know, she knew the shoulder, you know, hurt when it happened with the first collision, but she wanted to power through the match and win it and prove Alexa wrong and everything. And the fact of the matter is she can't be happy right now. No, she's been very angry and very bitter. And then, you know, the fans that sent her the tweets and the messages, you know, raised her spirits. This was when they started booing like crazy. And she just says, look, I'm going to move forward and be ready to come back when I'm ready. Then Charlie says, well, who do you think should get the shot then, considering you're having to give it up? And she goes, well, of course, it's my friend, Sasha Banks. Here comes her music. She comes out. They exchange friendly words, and Bayley leaves, and we go to commercial. waiting to see who's next. And it's not Goldberg. Because out next is Alicia Fox, and then Emma. We probably got the largest pop of the night.
Yeah, it makes sense. Lance Storm trainee, so it does make sense. Then again, they probably didn't know that. They were just cheering for the fact that Emma has tried to get herself over on the internet, and Vince doesn't like that. So she's being made to look like a total geek in every way possible in a match.
Well, whoa. When we get to this match, I think I don't want to steal other podcasts' gimmicks in terms of Geeks of the Week, but
oh my God.
It's not even a Geek of the Week. It's a what the hell were you thinking? Alicia Fox.
Okay, getting ahead of ourselves here, I will say right now, what world do we live in where we have Alicia Fox in a match who is more expendable than anyone in the women's division, and she is the one that doesn't eat the pin just so they can prove a point to Emma?
Whoa, she did eat the pin.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry.
Let's get to that first, because that was the first thing.
No, the first thing I want to talk about is Emma with an Ocean Cyclone suplex on the ring apron.
Oh, yes.
That looked great.
Incroyable.
I was very happy with that. And it's funny because the feed I was watching, it kind of was glitchy in this match. And the only thing Alicia Fox knows how to do well is be very attractive and hit a Northern Light suplex. And of course, it blanked out when I flipped back on and it was the bridge. I was like, crap, she hit the Northern Lights. Sasha hits a Desperation Shining Wizard. Emma's down. Sasha hits shotgun knees in the buckle to Foxy in the corner. And then one to Emma. Alicia gets the high elbow up. And then Emma sends Sasha to the outside. Near fall there. Emma roll up for a 1 count. And then she hits the Emma Mike sandwich, gets a near fall. Emma gets pulled.
Did you just side dress the actual proper problem?
There was a pinfall in this match that literally was a 3 count, and it never was.
So Sasha did the thing into the corner, with the knees.
Yes.
And Sasha went for the pin. Emma threw her out. That's the bit we're talking about.
Right.
Emma pinned her.
Literally pinned her.
The shoulders were down at 3.
Yep.
And the referee made excuses. Then straight up with the next roll up that happened like 20 seconds later, the shoulders were down again, but the referee was like pushing his hand underneath as if to say her shoulders aren't on the mat, at the same time pushing them up. So it's like, well,
this is bad.
See the issue here ever so slightly. Ever so slightly.
Crowd turns on the ref immediately, starts chanting, "This ref sucks."
This ref sucks, yeah.
We finally get to the finish. It's axe kick, ducks, lung blower, bank statement. Emma tries to steal the win on Sasha. Sasha traps her, locks in, the bank statement, wins. This is bad.
Yeah.
These matches are just getting really sloppy.
Yeah.
And the fact that apparently we used Renee in the back and her microphone was pretty much null and void for the first 3 seconds of this.
I don't know. I just don't know. Jeez. So that'll be something, I guess. So then Renee interviews Braun backstage and says, "I like hurting Roman. I've broken his body before, but tonight I break his spirit because I'll be the only monster standing. And come SummerSlam, I'll be the Universal Champion." And part of me is going, this is sounding a little too 50 Shades of Greyish. This is getting way too S&M-ish. or SNL, depending how you see fit. And then Enzo makes his way out, does his usual introduction for himself, and then introduces Big Show. And Show's just like, look, Cass needs to learn one thing, and that's respect. And then here come the Good Brothers. Because Revival, can't exist because they're a team. And then obviously Jeff can't be in Canada yet because they don't like his drug stuff. I'm guessing, because I believe Jeff wasn't at the show, but Matt was, from what I've heard. So that's why the Good Brothers are out here, and they say, what have you two done in terms of winning anything? Oh, look, probably haven't. No, and I see you two in the ring, and we're here, and if you want a challenge, we don't mind taking out another couple of what's the word? Nerds. The great thing is, throughout this bit, elements of times when Carl was doing the main talking, Luke was saying like nope and nope in a very Tex Ferguson-esque voice. And then when Luke was doing the talking, Carl was doing the the laugh that Chad Too Bad does. So now I'm just hoping that we say fuck the Good Brothers. I can't remember what the tag team name of them was before they split up in Southpaw.
Oh, God.
Because I somehow feel that needs to now be a thing.
Oh, that's
in a
good
big old way.
Well, there is a new season coming very soon.
Yeah, but when?
Not soon enough.
It should be SummerSlam.
That makes sense, given the promotion with KFC. It makes perfect sense.
But why haven't they announced it? And then Enzo apparently, I wasn't listening to what you said, but I can see you, and you look like Mini-Me and Dr. Evil.
Since when have those characters had giant beards? Just saying.
Not even when they were in prison.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, let's get a ref out here and let's have a match. And the match
How about no, you creepy unover bastard?
You know what's more interesting than this? Sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Oh my God, I'd rather watch Mojo Rawley than this. I hate this match. Luckily, the Good Brothers win because life is good.
Because Enzo is never going to win a match ever.
Enzo has become the scourge of the locker room. And I would not be surprised if his days on Raw are very numbered.
You know how they do Cena wins low?
Yes.
It's going to be Enzo loses low. Because it always happens.
Yeah, it's like Big Cass comes out, distracts, and that leads to Gallows big booting Big Show off the ring apron. So they set up the Magic Killer. Enzo double kicks to the face, rolls up Gallows. Anderson ends up hitting a running boot to the face. And since Anderson's the legal man, unbeknownst to Enzo, he gets the win, and they win the tag match. So yeah, that's something that happened. Good Brothers the new gear too. So Big Cass beats up Big Show afterwards.
Yeah. And is then circling the ring. and like ready to go for Enzo. But then Show, I guess, recovers, gave him a KO punch right by a King Ross sign, so I know what's going to be on WTF tomorrow.
Of course. Pedro says Enzo has lost a total of 72 times.
If I had a dime for every time Enzo won, I'd have 0 dimes! So now they recap the Bray and Finn stuff from last week, and Finn's heading to the ring next and welcomes everybody to the Balor Club and says how, you took out Bray last week, but the fact is Bray gives him the creeps with all his riddles and talking. It seems as if he cares more about hurting people or even scaring the bejesus out of people rather than winning or losing. But the fact of the matter is Finn kicks fear in the face. And the fact is, Bray better not miss with his next move, because whatever Bray starts, he will finish. So the lights go off, come back on, and Bray's in the ring, ready for an attack, except Finn is on the turnbuckle and saw it coming. And then Finn sort of gets the better of him with some strikes and everything, gets in the corner, goes for the gun pose and ready for the running knee strike, and the lights come back on or go back off, come back on, and Finn's alone in the ring looking around wondering where he's gone, and then there's just like crazy laughter from the Tron. He says like, oh, don't worry, if I haven't started it yet, but when you will, you won't even get a chance to finish it. All the good guys have their falls, and so will you. Run! Dip! And now it's time for Ambrose versus Cesaro.
This match was really good.
This was really, really good. I'm pleased they gave it as much time as they did.
Yeah, solid match between the two. A lot of great things going on here. Ambrose at one point goes for the tope suicida, gets caught with a Swiss uppercut. That's enough to get a near fall, barely.
Yeah.
And Cesaro hits going for the outside in superplex, and Ambrose breaks it up and hits a gourd buster off the top, roll up for a near fall. They go back and forth for a while. Ambrose goes for the Nigel, and he hits it. Sheamus gets up on the ring apron. Ambrose knocks him off for good measure, and Cesaro double leg goes for the sharpshooter. Ambrose gets to the ropes, just barely, but Cesaro ends up pulling him back to the middle of the ring. He gets back in. Ambrose lifts up, tries to get to the ropes again. He finally grabs the ropes. He escapes. Cesaro charges in. He low bridges him over the top, and Dean goes up top, and of course he does that diving top rope elbow that I don't like at all. Tosses him back in the ring, and Sheamus on the apron again. Ambrose turns in to Cesaro, rolls him up, and gets the win. Interesting.
No, but it was the carbon copy of the other finish as well, wasn't it?
Except
Dean
it
got
totally
the win.
was. Well, the weird thing about it is you took a match with Cesaro and Ambrose and gave it 10 plus, and then you took a match with Sheamus and Rollins and you didn't really give it any time at all. I'm okay with this. So, of course, they Pearl Harbor Ambrose, and Rollins has enough. He runs down. He makes a quick save. Sends the tag champions powdering. And the next thing you know, Seth looks down at Dean. Everybody's going nuts for it. Ambrose stands up. He looks at Seth. He throws his fist out.
After a while, a long time of just staring, and then he just like puts the fist out as if to go, "Shield, man."
And Seth's like,
just
nope.
as long a period of time, Seth's just like, nah, and leaves.
That's what happens.
Because now Dean knows how Seth's felt the last few weeks. Let's be honest, that's the way it's going to be presented. So then after recaps of Brock from earlier and the fact that the last man standing match is coming later and the other women's number one contender qualifier match, they recap Cesaro beating Daivari to get the right to face Neville at SummerSlam, and Titus Worldwide are backstage celebrating because it's Titus, Apollo, and Cesaro, and it's like Cesaro's getting his title shot, and we're gonna have a new cruiserweight champ, and oi, 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 oi. Neville, man.
Of course.
Don't worry, I'm not here to fight. I'm scouting my competition. You're facing Daivari tonight. You know what? I'm surprised because if you think about it, you've been at it for weeks, and last week you beat him to get that number one contendership. So having a rematch tonight, the fact of the matter is he's got nothing to lose in this match. But, you know, what would I know about nothing to lose? And walks out. It's like, oh, Neville's doing good. The shame is nobody gives a fuck about it. And he leaves, and Titus and Apollo just like, don't listen to him, man. You're going to be champ in 2 weeks. And then we're back from commercial. Daivari's out for action, coming out. And there's an inset promo where he basically says, I cannot show off Iran's power in wrestling at SummerSlam. So I will ruin your chances of getting your SummerSlam moment because you ruined mine. Or something like that. And then Cesaro comes out, Titus giving Booker T a Titus Worldwide shirt, and then talks about how Titus O'Neil talks about how Akira Tozawa is his property.
Yeah, that's
official. Titus O'Neil is a slave driver.
Oh God!
Now confirmed. Of course, we know who Titus is absolutely hated by, Vince. Therefore, Vince is a slave driver. Which I think is being proved even more by the fact as how many fuckers are getting injured every week. Because that's what it looks like to me. In a big way.
Fair point.
So then, I'm trying to think what's next.
You talked about the match.
No.
Yeah. Garrett Tozawa versus Ari.
I just mentioned the slave. Yeah, I mentioned the slave driver bit. I got distracted by the slave driver. The thing is, it was an okay match. It wasn't given a lot of time, in all honesty.
Daivari is using basically it's pretty much a rainmaker, but it's a hammerlock lariat is basically what he's using now. I like that. It's a good spot. And it was all for nothing because Daivari ends up trying to go after the injured shoulder, and Tozawa nails him with Saito suplex, goes up top, hits the big boy Dick Togo senton, gets the win. Not much to it, but then again, it was fine for what it was.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we get Renee in the back with Roman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
That's pretty much it. Basically, just Roman's like, I'm winning. You know, why should I be? Why should I care about Brock? You know, I've already retired Undertaker. I'll retire him. It's like, okay. So here comes Mickey James. Dana Brooke comes out without even an entrance. And then Jax, or at the rate she's going, this.
And this triagonal sign, that blue balloon, the month of June.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
she's proving to be evil because she fucked up Sasha.
Yep.
Fucked up Nia. I'm pretty sure she's hurt Alexa, but not seriously yet. A sort of mini confrontation. Nia is injuring people. And what really doesn't help is, once again, she's changed her finisher. Except, well, change, she's reverted, which is stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid.
Yeah, Dana eats the pin after the leg drop. That's it.
Yeah, not the looping leg drop, like the really awesome thing that you saw last week. Or was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I can't even remember. No, it must have been.
Oh, the somersault leg drop? Yeah, Nia's had some interesting finishes.
Now it's just like, yeah, fuck the somersault. It didn't get over. Despite the fact it really did.
Yep.
So who knows?
So
anyway,
week.
So that means rematch, a Monday night rematch continues next week because it's Nia versus Sasha Banks. Part 14 million. Winner getting Alexa at SummerSlam 6 days later. Oh, by the way, Raw next week is in Boston.
Yeah, that's a bad sign for Sasha. They don't like to put the hometown person over in their hometown. So we get Goldust.
Yeah. So basically, I don't know what film he quotes. Something from 1967. I missed it. And says that he'll, I'm back, but I need to find the right person to. So I'll be watching SummerSlam very closely. My next hero, for my next villain, or perhaps my next starlet, taken to the heights of stardom. Wait, he mentioned stardom. Kairi Sane is moving up. Well, fuck it. Considering what's happening, Asuka with Goldust would be fucking amazing.
I mean, I've been saying for a while now that Summer Rae would be the new Marlena, and I want to see this happen. I really do. But I mean, this could be anything really at this point, or it could be nothing. You never know.
And then, of course,
speaking of nothing,
then of course,
God, it's evil. Everything is evil.
Yes, it is evil. That is correct.
Cass gets into Kurt's office backstage and says, "Look, I want Big Show at SummerSlam. but I want it on the condition that Enzo isn't at ringside. In fact, no, not even at ringside, not even backstage. Hell, not even in the arena. Hell, not even in New York. Or just do the easy thing and just lock him up somewhere and never let him out. And Kurt goes, "Oh, you mean like a shark cage?" And I'm like, "No! Now I need the clip. I need the clip to get that ready." So Cass is like, "Shark cage sounds good." So Kurt makes it official. At SummerSlam, it's going to be Big Cass versus Big Show, and hovering above the ring, or I guess dangled above the ring rather than hovering, is going to be Enzo Amore in a shark cage.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah,
That's all I want to say, because I don't want to get angry about it, because I don't feel like cussing and swearing tonight for a change.
no.
I'll just let that say it for myself. Just
Yeah, this. I know where I'm going to be taking my big break, or getting a big drink, or going to the big bathroom when this big match comes into the ring. Thank God we're not doing live reactions to that. So, main event time: Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns, last man standing. This has one of the best things I think I've seen in a long time.
I came up with another joke, though.
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Blue House. Hello from the small house. Things to do. Fun for you. Howdy from the big bear. Want some fun? Yes, where? Just for you. All is new in the House of Blue. Lots of room at our house.
Yeah, Bear in the Big Blue House is more entertaining than whatever that match is going to be.
Yeah.
Dear God. And so then they confirm Balor versus Wyatt's happening SummerSlam, and then the women's match next week. Braun makes his way out. Roman gets muted the shit out of. And the last man standing match happens, which is good. But it's really just a case of I don't want to see it again. It's still a good match.
Yeah, it was fine.
Certainly towards the latter end, when things started actually going outside the ring properly, especially with D-Spot. But I don't know whether you want to lead off from first, Owen.
No, I just want to talk about D-Spot.
Yeah, so we get to the outside, and they're doing bits where they're laying each other out on the floor, and they're getting up either on the ring apron, or climbing up the ring apron, or climbing up the barrier. And so Roman sort of throws Braun into the corner or whatever. And he's sort of like recovering from whatever it is that he's doing. And he runs in, I guess, going for a spear. Braun has picked up the office chair, the commentary chair, the ringside, the ring announcer's chair, on the caster wheels and everything, like an office chair, and throws it. So basically, it was a headshot, Although he did get his arms up.
It was a literal headshot with an office chair.
Yeah. And it collided with him perfectly. It was just like, that's a beautiful bloody spot.
One of the best things I've seen on Raw
In
this
fact,
year.
even at the
easily.
start, thinking about it, even at the start with the early part of the match, they brawl on the outside as the bell rings, but then Braun grabs Roman and throws him through the second and third ropes from the floor into the ring. This is why Braun is actually growing on me, because he's doing all this shit and getting over naturally, even though you're supposed to boo him. He's doing all this stuff where it's like, wow, that's a really good spot. I can't boo him. He's awesome. And that, my friends, is the prisoner's dilemma.
Yes, it is. So they go back and forth for quite a while. A lot of great stuff set up here. And we get towards the end. Braun's at the top of the ramp. And Roman is at the top of near the entranceway. So he goes to charge for the spear. He gets booted in the face. Roman gets up at 3. He runs down the ramp again, spears Braun again. Roman beats the count. But in the melee, a fan has grabbed Roman Reigns, but it's not a fan. Oh no, it's Samoa Joe. Locks in the Kikina clutch. He jumps over the barricade for good measure. Chokes Roman out. Referee starts counting. He's about at 7. And Braun gets up at 8. Roman is still down. And Braun wins. Good, hard-hitting main event.
Mm-hmm.
These two are really good together in the ring.
I just love the fact, though, the way Braun just immediately got up and no-sold at 8.
Yeah,
like,
that was great.
7. Oh, I'm dead. 8. Boing! Straight up on his feet. It's like, okay. That isn't exactly what I thought it was, but... Mm-hmm. Maybe. And, Samoa Joe's happy. Braun's, like, really celebrating in the ring, and that's the go home.
Yeah, luckily we still have another week till SummerSlam.
Yeah. So there you go.
The proper go home will be next week in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that show is something. If you are lucky enough to watch Raw on Hulu, chances are you probably missed a lot of the wondrous things that we talked about tonight.
There's a lot.
That's going to be your show. Like I said at the beginning of the show today, join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. for a special edition of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, including all things New Japan Pro Wrestling with the G1 Climax continuing, as well as SmackDown and 205 Live reactions of NXT, and also Lucha Underground, as well as GFW Impact, and also What Culture Pro Wrestling Loaded, and anything and everything in the world of professional wrestling going to be coming your way starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK. Nearly forgot. That's a good one, isn't it?
Follow me on Twitter at Zero and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network, and also you can check out our Facebook fan page if you so choose. I very much will be updating it sooner rather than later. It's under Popcast Network on Facebook. Of course, we have brand new Ashley content that just went up this weekend. We have a brand new Sip and Snack from Ashley from the guest star series from Sunday. Monday, of course, the brand new Game with Ash, talking about Vice City, Psychics. Check that out.
Anti-Poulet, and why some people are wrong.
Next
That's
tomorrow
what
night.
I'm saying.
Alrighty, tomorrow night, the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast, 6 p.m. And of course, back here for Sip and Snack on Thursday. AJ takes the weekend, as always, with a brand new edition of Versus, and there's a reason for it, obviously. And then that's going to lead us into AJ's movie reviews this coming week. I believe the reviews we're going to have this week are going to be The Hitman's Bodyguard. And potential. No, I'm a week early. No, we'll have a week coming up this week. I have no idea what exactly is going to be reviewed because everything that's coming out is not getting a review. So I'm curious to see what's coming out this coming weekend. So stay tuned for that. So as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more this evening you've chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. While they're available, go buy your Bullet Club shirts at Hot Topic. Buy the New Japan Pro Wrestling merchandise so it stays in stores and gets to go countrywide instead of just in select locations. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
God, shark cages. I've just realised shark cages have appeared at Royal Rumble, WrestleMania weekend because it was on NXT, and SummerSlam. So, what's the bet on Survivor Series weekend having a shark cage match? I'd buy that for $1.